welcome to 2.5 Brains, our weekly discussion of the latest episode of Survivor Season 39, Episode 13. We're going to break it all down, talk all about all the controversy again. Another emotional episode again, and we're going to talk about who's got the best shot of winning, who's going to make it to the end, who they have to take out to get there, who their win resemble, all those things. It's a penultimate episode, always a good time, and we're going to talk all about it. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything, and of course our Survivor finale coverage. You can go ahead and give us an update, give us a rating, review. You can comment, share the post, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/paperproductions, email us at paperproductions@gmail.com, tweet me directly, Yo Grabba Gabba, and you can tweet my co-host as well when she comes on the show. So let's talk all about it, break it all down, and we're going to have a great discussion here. Probably get a little bit into some of the nastiness of the season and kind of the controversy that's been surrounding it. But we'll go ahead and bring in my co-host before we get too far down the path, and maybe Bailey will join us later too. We'll see. But let's go ahead and bring our co-host, who's here every week, the lovely Jessica. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. That was loud.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If it's too loud, you're too old. Said the old man. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the episodes, break it all down. Anything to kind of off the top you want to start with, or you want to just kind of get into it?
Let's just get into it.
Cool. How do people find you on Twitter?
Just TH20.
Just TH20. Cool. So let's go ahead and talk all about the episode. It's been the episode's kind of, season's kind of flown by like everything else. I mean, like the months and the weeks and the days and the years have flown by. But let's go ahead and break it all down, talk about the episode. And we do a little differently. Kind of, it's instead of doing a power ranking or a top 3 bottom 3, there was going to be 6 people left, and there was only 5 after the controversy. But we'll talk all about that and kind of who's got the best shot of winning, who's got the best shot of getting to the end, which are two very, very different things. Kind of where we see this going, and kind of going from there. But we'll talk all about it, and we'll have a discussion and see how it goes. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So, what is the 3 moments that matter? Start with the moment number 1 that mattered is what?
Idol hunt.
So, idol hunt, yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously after they came back from the vote where the 7th person got voted out, and they got down to the final 6, or final, I guess, 8th down to 7, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it started at 7th episode. So we got down from the 8 finally to the final 7. Obviously, Janet used her idol and blew it.
Yeah.
Or Elaine used it and blew it. Oh, it's been so many different idols. Elaine used it and blew it, yeah. And then she knew she was in trouble, so she had to get up early and start looking for it. They had a nice idol hunt. Everybody was searching all around. At least 4 or 5 people were looking.
It was Elaine and Dean, and then Tommy and Janet decided to go out and look. But what group do you think found it? Well,
not the one in minority, the one that was in control. So Janet finds the idol, her second idol of the season. Mm-hmm. And it used to be, oh my gosh, women never find idols. Now there's an idol that found every episode, so it's kind of hard to track who has idols, who has advantages, I'm glad they're putting that up there now, on the lower third of who has what. But there's so many idols. You can't keep track of who plays at what which week or who has what. It's very, it's fun. It adds extra wrinkles to the season, and at this point you might as well find them. I like when they used to have them actually have to find them.
Yeah.
Like they were just like, oh my gosh, they can't look cool. Like what's the point of Island of the Idols? I mean, if at the very least they should be harder to find, and go to the island and have to find a clue or something, or find it at the island or something. It's really dumb.
But the island wasn't used enough for that to work.
No,
because
absolutely
then
not.
there wouldn't be any idols to play in the game at all.
And of course, the producers want there to be idols found.
Right.
That's what they want. It adds a wrinkle, adds excitement, of course. So yeah, producers want idols to be found. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to follow, and obviously idol hunt ended with Janet finding her second idol. Mm-hmm. Dean got randomly pulled out of the hat to go to Island of the Idols. Mm-hmm. He won an advantage, losing his vote, and he could have won one of 3 things. What were the 3 things, you remember?
Idol nullifier, and extra vote.
Yes, and he chose idol nullifier, and he risked his vote for a coin flip, and he won.
Yeah, I don't really think the idol nullifier was probably the best choice.
No, but there's only 1 week left to play it, and Janet has an idol she has to play this week, so
right.
It's really going to depend.
It will, but if she doesn't play it before the votes are written down and waits till later, he won't know to do it or not. So he's just going to have to play it either way.
He's going to have to play it because it's last day to play anyways.
Yeah.
So the best thing that could happen is if Janet can win immunity, and then can play that on somebody else to save somebody else, and then he don't know who to play the nullifier on.
Right.
Even if they get 4 votes, he said, "Oh, I got Did he say legacy advantage only used 6 though? Isn't that what he said? So now it's gone because it's out there at 5. They didn't have a vote at 6.
Yeah.
So that was good. He didn't get to be a buffoon. He said he's gonna get the votes on him.
He did get to be a buffoon though, because he told Rob and Sandra like, "Oh, yeah, I got this idol legacy advantage," and they're just like, "Dude, it's fake."
Can you confirm it? Like we cannot only Jeff can.
Right.
They're trying not to laugh at him.
Right.
And he's like, maybe I'll get the votes on me and then I'll play it and I'll look good. You idiots. He's an idiot.
Tell everybody to vote for him is what he said.
Yeah.
Also, asterisk, if he chose the idol, it wasn't to be played on him either. It was to be played on somebody else.
Correct. Good point. Yeah, it's very true.
So I think extra vote probably would have been the best choice out of any of them. For him, especially, because it's not like he's got much to... Ow. Bailey.
So, I'm a little bit actually disappointed they brought back the Idol Nullifier. It was obviously, these guys didn't see season 37, at least where the Idol Nullifier came out. Because they left before then.
Right.
But my fear, I guess, is the Idol Nullifier worked so perfectly the first season. Carl, Dan the idiot found the idol, played it on himself. He had to play it. Everybody knew he was going to play it. Carl had the Idol Nullifier, played it, knocked out Dan's idol, and then Dan goes home and everybody wins. The minority takes over the majority, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Do what's happened this episode, this season? If Dean does play correctly, he plays on Janet. Janet sets a resurgency against the people in charge, and gets knocked out because her idol is nullified.
Yeah.
So the person, so the majority is going to keep power because of the idol nullifier. That's what's going to happen. I see it. I mean, maybe the only best thing we hope for is, for drama's sake, for something different other than what would be the easy decision. Janet wins the immunity, has to play on somebody else, and like plays it on Dean or something, and now he can't nullify it because it's on himself, and she nullifies the nullifier, which would be quite interesting. But we'll see. I don't know.
He can nullify it though. It's an idol nullifier.
Yeah, but why would he nullify if it's on himself?
He wouldn't know that if it was.
Well, yeah, sure.
When it was played.
So he plays it on, right. So he plays it on somebody else.
Yeah.
And nullifies the idol, and it wouldn't be a thing. So
yeah.
It'd be interesting.
Anyways, let's move on from the idol nullifier.
So moving on from the idol hunt and the idol nullifier, island idol's nonsense. Let's talk about the second part.
Elaine taken out.
Yeah, so Elaine got taken out this week. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I didn't see her winning. I thought she would go a little bit further. It just... This whole thing has been a scramble the entire season, so I guess it was more expected that she was going to get taken out. I did her mom passed away, and I love how Janet steps up to be the mom and, gives the momly advice, and that was really nice to see. Had a lot of the girls crying, which was, obviously myself, shut up. But, I liked Elaine.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
She was on my team.
I don't think she did enough to win, but I like her.
No, like I said, if the game was a 10-day game, she wins, and it's not close. Mm-hmm. But the fact that she didn't do anything post-swap, she was irrelevant post-swap.
Yeah.
And she's likable and all that stuff, and they're trying to convince us that she still has a shot. And I didn't buy it. I didn't think she was going to win. I thought, she was pretty much drawing dead by that point.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it's interesting. I think, the fact that it came down to it at 6-4. I ended up seeing. I think Dan and Nora voted for. I think Dan and Elaine voted for Nora,
and the rest voted for Elaine.
And they wanted that Dan vote to be the extra in case an idol was played.
Right.
By Elaine or something. So
right.
that they had the vote split. But Janet didn't get any votes. Nora got 2, and then it was Elaine who was sent home. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on that?
No.
Okay. Let's go and talk about the last part, the controversial part, the sad and disturbing part.
So Dan was ejected.
So Dan was ejected this week.
Yes, at the end of the episode.
Yeah, so the last 2 minutes of the episode, they came in and said Dan was removed from the game. And they put on the screen there was an incident not involving a player that happened off camera, and Dan was decided to pull him from the game. Mm-hmm. Lawyers were involved. They talked about it, the producers, and they decided that Dan needed to be pulled from the game for misconduct. And the alleged story is that he was getting on the boat, the infamous boat that has taken players out in the past. Pat, curious, I'm talking to you. And he was getting on the boat at the end of the challenge, and he quote-unquote fell and put his hand on the producer's leg. And the producer felt uncomfortable about it, and they discussed it after. I guess they went back to the immunity challenge. Because everything happening pretty quick, and after the immunity challenge, they came in and at the end it said, Dan is being pulled from the game for misconduct, and that was all we really heard. A lot more has come out since then, but I'll let you kind of share your thoughts first before I go into any of that stuff.
We talked about it for a while last night. Talked about it a little today. We're never gonna know what actually happened. I feel like something bad enough had to have happened that they felt it was right to do. I mean, CBS is going to look out for what's right. If they don't do something about it and something does really actually happen, something worse, then they're at fault. But if it wasn't anything and they overreacted, it's better, I guess, for that type of thing that has been going on this season, allegedly, to be overreactive than under in today's society and everything else that's going on. It's better to be overly cautious than not.
Certainly, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, it's so complicated, this situation. I mean, if I'm somebody like a Tommy, and I'm going to go to the end with Dan and Dean and win 10-0, in a shutout win. Now Dan's gone, now I lose. I'm like, why did you pull Dan from the game? Who's going to lose anyways? Let us deal with it in 4 days. If I'm Tommy, I'm pissed.
Right.
If I'm somebody who now wins because of that, because Dan got taken out, then I'm obviously thrilled about it. It's you can never predict the game. I personally would rather let the players handle it themselves. I know. If the producer felt uncomfortable, I understand. I feel for that individual. I've never been in that situation. It's not as exact. I've dealt in business and dealt with a lot of people who were kind of off and didn't really have the right intentions, and some who were accused of things that they never did. I've seen both sides of it, and so I understand that. The other people who you've trusted and you thought they were great, they turn out to be not the greatest in any way. They're complete scumbags. And then I've also some people who were accused of things that they never would even think of doing. So it's very complicated. The only one who knows what happened genuinely is Dan. If he slipped and fell, Billy Madison style, onto somebody,
as you said
this morning, then that's one thing. If he's a Hollywood talent agent, a la Harvey Weinstein, and he likes to use his authority and power and his size to get what he wants, and doesn't care who he hurts, and is all about himself and a sociopath, then screw him. He should be gone anyways.
Right, but we're never gonna know.
Never gonna know.
We weren't there. The only people that were there is the players. They saw it happen, but everybody takes things into their own perspective.
Mm-hmm. Everything from their perspective. I mean,
right.
If Dan, Dan's reputation preceded him, and if he didn't have the controversy early in the season, I bet you this isn't anything. Mm-hmm. But also, if he's acting a certain way, then that's a problem too. If he's also, and then the other side of it is if it was Dean who fell and grabbed the producer's single, not married, and now this good-looking guy's putting his arm on her, maybe it's different. It's so.
But even with that, it's all your perspective.
Absolutely.
So that point kind of doesn't matter. It's
Absolutely.
like if an old lady was hitting on you, you would be uncomfortable.
I mean, certainly, and been there.
Oh, I know, yeah.
But the funny thing is, though, it doesn't really matter who, the only person whose opinion really matters at the end of the day is the victim. Mm-hmm. And Dan, he may have been perfectly well intentioned, and now he's got a reputation that's preceding him. Mm-hmm. It becomes a Salem witch trial, right. Or he's been doing it all along and just denying it. And the thing that I don't like, and I guess they couldn't really avoid it too much, but they had Dan's son come on for the family visit.
Yeah, they couldn't avoid it.
If they could have they had to kind of walk tiptoe around that a little bit, but making this guy look like a family man, and then
Family Guy?
Yeah, a family man, and then and then he's also a perverted pedophile or
I mean, we
sexual
don't
assault.
know anything about him except what is shown on the show and it's TV, so everything's edited to what they want you to see.
And they always want the rage of drama and entertainment, and I think they bit off more than they can chew this time. I really do. I think they put more drama into the show and injected more drama into the show than they really wanted, and they're paying the price for it.
Yeah.
This season has turned into a ghost island where there's one or two good players marching to the end, and it also has the mix of a little bit of worlds apart, a little bit of game changers with all the nastiness and out of the game stuff that has just come out, and it made it really kind of like the Zeke thing and the game changers and the and the Shireen thing on World Apart. It was just very like it was just nasty and stuff that we don't need that. We're here to play a game and strategy and physical challenges and that kind of thing. The last thing we need is all this stuff of personal and goes beyond that. We're trying to watch. There's not that stuff in the world. We're trying to get away from that stuff by watching a show, and now it's being brought back into it and racial tension. And this season has so much to talk about, and I don't think it's been good. I think it's been very it's taken away a lot from the gameplay, or I guess maybe the lack of gameplay. But it's tough, and now just as a side note, as we've learned, the Survivor Live taping of the reunion show is not actually going to be live anymore.
Just for this season.
For this season, correct. With all the nastiness, I mean, there's never been a player ejected from the game. There's never been a player who's been removed by producers. It's never happened before. There's been times where there's intervention or whatever. There's been times where there's been stuff that's been weird. The Brandon Hance thing comes to mind where he threatened to kill Philip and piss in the rice and everything, and they had to do an on-the-spot tribal council where he was voted out. But that was a little bit like, what's going on? There's been other things where player safety became a thing, or evacuations and everything. But there's never been anything really where no vote took place, the players had no say in the matter, and a player was taken out of the game. Not for injury.
I feel like though they kept giving them their chances to do that because the stuff was going on throughout, and they just kept deciding to keep him when they probably were really encouraging to vote him out, maybe.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's mob mentality, right?
Yeah.
It's the whatever the majority wants, the majority gets. And if the majority of the people, and it's if Kelly was the only one who was genuinely feeling affected by him, well, what can you do? I mean, can you say, well, Kelly's feeling affected by him, let's get him out of the game? What does that open up? Does that open up Pandora's box? Now, one person's in the minority, and they say, I'm feeling very uncomfortable by this guy who's running the show. Mm-hmm. And now they can just take him out of the game, and now, or vice versa. Well,
he was never running the show.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's for the future.
Yeah.
For the future. Now, the person who's in charge of the game is now, and the person who's about to be voted out says, they're making me feel uncomfortable, and they pull from the game because they're doing something that's inappropriate, quote unquote, and now that's a whole new thing. So it's very slippery slope.
I think a lot of it's going to be learned for the next couple seasons. If it, however long the show continues, they're going to learn from this.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, they played into the drama a lot. The producers did, and now they reap what they sow. I mean, obviously Jeff Varner came and put out a statement, and he was very upset about it. Obviously, he was involved in the last controversy of this type. So I understand. I mean, I understand that there's, just from the perspective of the show, the players, if the players were, feeling that uncomfortable and creepy. I mean, the dude wasn't going to win anyways. Mm-hmm. I guess we can kind of transition to that a little bit, but the dude wasn't going to win anyways. So why get involved when he's gonna get to the end and lose anyways, or he's gonna get voted out anyways? Mm-hmm. Again, maybe that producer he put his hand on every time he got into the confessional, he was just like, we didn't see a ton of confessionals with Dan. No. I almost wonder if he got into the confessional and he was kind of flirting with that.
It could be
producer,
and had no idea.
And he's like, "Hey, after the show's over, I'm gonna leave my wife for you," and it got very, very weird.
Well, that's the thing. We have
no idea. So there's so many things. It's so hard to say. And the only thing I'd say is from the show perspective, I would love it to be, hey, let the justice be what it needs to be at the end, and instead of the producer stepping in and out. Now, people, every time that a higher power gets involved, people who aren't supposed to be involved in the situation get affected. Tommy now could lose the game when he could have won with Dan being there. So did Tommy deserve that? No. So it is it is what it is. It's just I just would rather the game be left up to the players and not have the production. If Dan did it, and honestly, if there's something that's that egregious, then deal with it. But I'd rather the players handle the business and let it go the way it is.
And I'm sure they would have, but we don't know.
We don't know.
And that's the whole point. We don't know. And it had to, in my opinion, had to have been something bad enough where that was the end of it. They couldn't let it continue anymore, even though it was almost over. I
mean, I'm sure there's going to be lawsuits, so I'm sure a moral entry will come out, and we'll know. But at this point, not something that has never happened before on the show. And, I hope it never happens again, because it's not nice. It's very nasty and uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So let's just move on. Let's talk about the who didn't survive this week. There's two now who didn't survive.
Basically covered a lot of it, but Elaine and Dan did not survive.
And so we'll talk a little bit about Elaine. Dan, I'm just going to talk about the game perspective, why he didn't survive.
Mm-hmm.
What about Elaine? Why did she not make it?
I mean, she lost all of her alliances, and if they were not her alliances was part of the problem. Like she said, most of her people that she thought were alliances are sitting on the jury, and she didn't make a lot of moves, and just basically nobody was taking her to the end.
Yeah, I mean, she got to the point where, unfortunately, a lot of times in this game you have to make a move early enough, and she just didn't do it. I mean, she let her allies fall by the wayside because, hey, as long as it's not me, and that Sandra thing does work sometimes. It's worked twice for Sandra, for example. But, hey, as long as it's not me, I don't care who gets what, as long as I'm still with the people in the numbers, and if I have to lose an ally here or there, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, for her, all her allies got taken out. She was the fifth or sixth in an alliance of four, and of the final seven, she was whatever, on the bottom of that, and she's a threat, and then take her out, and with all that being said, her threat level was still high, her allies were gone, and she didn't have the control in the game. I mean, if you're a huge threat, you also need to have control, and she didn't have. She was a huge threat without control, and that's it. You're done, and that happens. She should have made a move, perhaps, earlier to save some of her allies so that way she gets down to the spot and they're looking out for her and everything like that. She was just trying to, get to the end at that point, and it's way harder to do that without allies. And I think that's her biggest thing. She just didn't have the support, didn't have the people who were keeping her around.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Let's talk about Dan then. I think why he didn't survive, obviously he was pulled from the game, but more so than that, Dan was going to win. If he got to the end, he could have made some arguments about, hey, I did this, I did that, but he was. If we would have ranked our top six and bottom six people with a chance to win, I think Dan's 6.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
So the fact that a goat is going to go to the end and lose, got pulled at 6. Instead of going to the end and lose, for the sake of entertainment value and gameplay, one less person to do nothing.
Yeah.
So I mean, whatever he probably would have gone, if not to the final 3, at least the final 4.
Right.
He would have been taking up a spot of somebody who had a shot to win, and it is what it is. So I don't think Dan got a weird edit. He didn't get a lot of airtime. It was very strange, obviously unprecedented. What happened, but he was going to win anyways.
Well, it slightly makes the show better that one person that's not going to win is not going to get to the end finally, because some people that actually did things should actually get to be in that seat.
For sure. So now there's 3 people with an outside shot to win, 3 people with no shot to win.
2 and 3.
And now it's 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll see how it turns out. I still have my strong prediction of how the season's going to end and who's going to win. But there's, we'll certainly see.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What's next?
Odds of getting to the end.
So odds of getting to the end. So what we do here is just kind of talk about, okay, who's got the best shot of getting to the end? Not necessarily winning, but who's got the best shot of getting to the end? How do they get to the end? And what would a win like theirs resemble? Mm-hmm. We obviously predicted it being a final 6 at the finale. Now it's a final 5. It's going to be kind of weird, and things got kind of shaken up a little bit that we didn't expect. But we'll talk about it here and kind of try to put some semblance together. So who do you think has who we kind of talk about it? Who do you think has the worst shot of getting to the end of the final 5 right now?
Looking at it again, but we'll go with what you have is Janet.
Okay, and what arguments for and against? Why Janet?
I don't think she'll be last anymore.
No?
Because I'm trying to look at it from the perspective of alliances.
Mm-hmm.
Janet is closer to Tommy now.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy doesn't trust Nora because Nora was throwing his name out for a vote. But everything can change because it changes every week.
And keep in mind that Nora has, or Janet has an idol.
Mm-hmm. She does.
Dean has an idol nullifier.
She does.
So it's kind of confusing. It's kind of hard to say really where it's going to break down. We wrote down kind of who we thought a win by Janet would look like, and I had an idea of what Janet needs to do to pull together to get the win.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll save that for the next section. But Janet, who did I write down that who she would resemble for the win? Sandra. Because if it was anybody but me, it was kind of getting to the end. It was she formed alliances and was never really necessarily running the show per se. Was always in on the vote. And didn't really care who went home. But now that I think about it more, I think she's more like Michelle Fitzgerald. And the reason being is because Michelle was probably, they vote out Michelle's ally, and they vote out another person who, Michelle could have used to get to the end. Mm. And so now they're down the final 4, final 5, whatever, final 5, and there's 3 against 2. And Janet's kind of still in the 3, but I think she's more on the outs because I don't think anybody wants to go the end with Janet. I think she's too scary to go the end with.
Yeah.
So I think she's kind of on the bottom. I think right now they would rather pull in Dean and go Dean, Tommy, and Lauren, and then get rid of Nora and Janet because Nora is unpredictable and Janet's a threat.
Yeah.
I think that's what they would probably rather do. But I think if she wins, she's going to have to kind of overcome that at the final, and she's certainly helped by Dan getting taken out.
Yeah.
So Dan gets taken out, maybe she wins an immunity challenge, now she's at the final 4, makes fire. It's become more like a Banner or Michelle Fitzgerald thing where they want to get this person out, but things break in a certain way where they can't, and they don't expect it to happen that way. And now, she's at the end, and they're like, well how'd that happen? Mm-hmm. And I could see Janet doing that. And we'll talk about kind of what her move should be at the end here. But I think if the players have it their way, McDonald's style, or Burger King style. If they have it their way, they're going to take out Janet next, and then it's the two, and Tommy and Lauren battle out fire. Whoever makes fire goes down with 2 goats. And I think that's probably their best bet. Or one of them turns on each other here at the final 5. Either way, but I think Janet is the one who I think nobody wants to go down with Janet because they don't think they can beat them. Tommy could have the argument that I played the same game Lauren did, but I played it better. I don't think the argument would fly, but I think he could make that argument. Janet is just if people value the game Janet played, Janet wins no matter what. Doesn't matter who she's with.
Right.
And so that's why it's kind of like you might want to just take that out of there before with that unknown entity. Mm-hmm. What? Any other thoughts? Any other concerns or comments?
No.
Talk about more, how she gets there and what she would have to do to win. Then in the next little section, but who's the next worst odds of winning?
Lauren.
Or next best odds of winning, I guess.
Yeah,
Lauren, or getting to the end, I should say. Yeah, Lauren. Her odds are tough because Tommy can really go anywhere. Mm-hmm. He said he has no desire to go with Lauren. Now he could make the argument that he could beat her and maybe think if worst case scenario he can still beat her, but I think he wants to at the very least make her make fire. Right.
Yeah.
And so if she can't make fire, and she seemed very afraid of that. So I don't know if she's just not good at it, or just worried about that scenario. Mm-hmm. But Tommy can go in the end. He can go with Dean. He can go men defense with Nora. Mm-hmm. He can go. He's got Janet. He could go with any of them really. And if he gets all 4 of those votes to turn on Lauren can be in big trouble. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's gonna do that. Obviously, but I think Lauren has got to be public enemy number 1 or at least number 2, because I think she beats anybody at the end, and I think they know that. So it's, and I think she has Tommy, but I don't really. I think her best move would have been today, to get Nora and Janet and Elaine and taking out
Get the girls,
Tommy or whoever. Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm. I said that night.
You were saying that during the show, right? You were saying that you thought the girls should stick together, and that would be the best move for them. For them to go to the end, and then obviously Lauren makes Janet make for her, and if she can, and probably beats anybody anyways.
Yeah.
But I think she missed her opportunity by going out lane. So if she loses, if Lauren loses, gets voted out before the final 5 or before the final 3, we can point to this move here with Elaine as why.
Right.
What else?
Yeah.
Next. Who would win by her look like? I think Wendell. I think she played a Wendell-like game.
Yeah.
Keeping all the people who suck together. Having one strong ally who you can beat. Wendell maybe didn't know he can necessarily beat him, but one strong ally with you who's your ride or die. You go to the end with them, and you can beat them.
If they go to the end together.
And I think she's overestimating a little bit of Tommy's desire to go with her, but she also took out a lot of the good players earlier, early in the merge or pre-merge, and now is at the end of the game with people who aren't really very good at the game, really don't have much of a shot to win, and she still has her one ally with her. So things are probably gonna break. Like Wendell and Nam turn on each other at 4-2, but they both got there. Right. So I think that's kind of the win. I kind of can see her following that trajectory.
Yeah.
What's next?
Tommy.
I think So I think Tommy is a bit of a wild card. I do think Tommy's got a good shot at getting to the end of the threats to win. I think if you look at best chance to win versus best chance to get to the end, I think Tommy's the center of that Venn diagram. I think he's got all things considered, he's got the allies to do anything like that. But it's going to depend on who wins out between him and Lauren.
Yeah. And
just based on edits and blah, 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 I feel like Tommy gets cut at 4 or 5 probably. And then that's how he goes out of the game. I don't think Tommy is going to get to the final 3. I think he gets knocked out before then. But just based on edit, how things have been going. But I do think that he's got enough, going in his way, that he, if his allies stick by him and everything like that, he has 3 or 4 different paths in the end. Whether he wants to take those paths because he's going to lose, against some of them is up in the air. But I feel like, he's of all the people who have shot the win, he's the best shot at getting to the end. But he's definitely not a go that people are going to want to drag either.
Right.
So that's kind of, I think if I think they're going to want to beat him, so they're going to want to knock him out. But I think if he's in control, he wins the immunity challenge or 2. He'll decide who goes to the end. But if it's but he's also not a sure thing. Oh, we'll take him to the end. We'll beat him.
Right.
Make sense? What else? Who's next? Oh, and who would it win like him of his look like?
Adam Klein.
Yeah, so it's tough to say. He's definitely not as good a player as Adam was. Adam was an elite player. Adam was one of I'd argue the top 10, top 5 winners ever. But Adam. If Lauren becomes Tommy's David to his Adam, Adam took David to the final 4 and then cut him and won the game. If I'm Tommy, I'm taking Lauren to the final 4 and cutting her, or final 5, whatever.
Right.
As soon as you can, get rid of her, and then you have nobody left who can beat you. And I think that's kind of would be the best trajectory for Tommy. And if he pulls that off, he's played a Adam light game. It wasn't quite as good as Adam's game, but it was the same idea where you keep the biggest threat in the game, align with them, and go as far as you can take them, and then right before the end get rid of them, and then you weigh the risk. I have to do that for sure. But I think that's kind of the Adam idea.
Yeah.
What's next?
Nora.
So Nora is tough too, right? Because Nora is a wild card, and they may not want to take her. They gave her votes last time. But now that Dan's gone, I feel like Nora becomes very, very tempting to take to the end. I feel like any of the 3 players who go to the end with Dean and Nora win.
Most likely, yeah.
Right? So now if I'm in this game, I'm like, all right, Nora, Dean, let's go to the end. Us, final 3. Because I know I'm beating both of you.
Right.
Right? And if you get them aligned, they don't really like each other, they don't really get along. But if you can get them to go to the end with you, and you take out Tommy and whoever else, or whoever the person is, take out the other 2, you have Nora at the end, you're looking pretty good. So I think Dan going out of the game makes Nora's odds of getting to the end much, much better. because you don't want to sit at the end with people who can win.
Right.
And Nora is weirdo. I think Nora is obviously she's weird and like that, but she may have better odds of winning than maybe some person, but not much. And I think she can somehow get to the end. That would be interesting. What who would a win of hers look like?
Judd Berza?
Judd Berza, Fabio. Fabio Berza. The reason I said she would look like Judd Berza winning is because he had no clue what was going on the whole game, but won some challenges and was likable.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right, doesn't it? Yeah, that's basically Nora. I feel like in modern Survivor, that person couldn't win anymore. I feel like if Judd played today, and thank God he's not playing next season, but if Judd played today, they would be like, you're a freaking loser. You're a clown. You're not winning. But in that season was terrible. It was, Chase Rice and Matt Lenihan and the finals with Judd, and they hated Matt Lenihan because he was a slime ball, and Chase Rice he played the game but screwed people over and they're all upset about it. So they gave it to Judd because he didn't screw anybody over. He just was there, likable, entertaining, having fun, and so they gave it to him. Nora, if you squint really, really hard, and maybe she's there with somebody who pissed off the whole jury and somebody else who didn't do anything, maybe, but I'm pretty confident she's not winning.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But it basically is that I think if you did win, it'd be basically a Fabio win. It's just, hey, I'm here, there was some fun playing the challenge, and I'm not But she also tried to be strategic too, and I think that's one thing that's going to hurt her too. Is Fabio never tried to be strategic. He just went there and said, hey, let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
Nora tried to be strategic and piss people off in the process.
Yeah.
Judd never pissed anybody off. He just went there and did his thing, and that's why he got the win.
Right.
He was actually so not strategic that they liked him better. So, but I don't think Nora's gonna win, so it doesn't matter. Who's got the best chance to get in the end according to what we wrote down here? Dean, and why Dean?
Because he's an idiot.
Well, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to sit at the end? It would sit at the end with an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's free money. It's $3 million.
Yeah, he's messed up a lot in the game.
Everything he's tried to do, he's done poorly. He's failed at everything he's tried to do in the game. He's had a fake legacy advantage that he was going to use to make a big move at the final 6. And now he can't do that because Dan got pulled. He had the only thing he can do, really, the only move he has left to make is the idle nullifier if he takes out the right person. And then he takes out the right person with the idle nullifier. He doesn't win the game, he just helps somebody else win the game. The only thing he can do right now, Dean can do right now, is play the idle nullifier and decide who wins. It won't be him, but he can decide, okay, if I play on this person and knock this person out of the game, then this person wins. If I play on this person, knock this person out of the game, then this person wins. Right. That's really he's got the power in the game right now to kind of decide who wins the game. But none of those answers are him. So I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
What about Dean? Who does his win resemble?
Bob Crowley.
I kind of feel like Bob. Bob was kind of a dork. He was just kind of there. He just kind of showed up and he made a fake idol and played it and everything. It was funny. He was not in control of the game. He was aligned with the person who was in control of the game. The person who was in control of the game was hated by so many people that they had no votes. And he was the likable alternative. I almost kind of, if Dean wins by some miracle, it's going to be because everybody on the jury hates everybody else. And they're like, even though he has no stakes in the game and everything, he's likable and he gets the end. Kelly knew him from previous life, whatever, so, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's about it, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of all I can say. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah? So, if we switch gears then, we'll go out, kind of do our final 5, kind of who's got the best shot of winning, in what order, and kind of go from there, what they need to do to get to the end, and how they can win if they can win. Start with the 5th place, who's got the worst, of the final 5, who's got the worst shot of winning?
Dean.
And Dean. So we got the best shot of getting to the end because he got the worst shot of winning. It's a lot of times it's very inverse. Not going to be completely inverse this case, but it's very inverse. This is, Dean has the worst odds of winning. I mean, he hasn't done really anything in the game. He isn't really a contributor in any capacity. But if he gets to the end, he can argue that, I guess, that he was likable and blah, 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 and didn't piss anybody off. But what do you think Dean would have to do at the end? How would he win, I guess?
Get rid of Lauren and Tommy.
You were Lauren and Tommy, and then probably lose to Janet.
Yeah.
So I think, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
100% agree. He's not beating Lauren. He's not beating Lauren or Tommy. He's probably not beating Janet. He may not beat Nora.
Maybe, yeah.
But his only chance, his only snowball chance in hell is if he takes out those two and goes to the end.
He's got no chance because anybody that's sitting on the jury knows he blew up his own blind side.
Correct.
So why the hell would you do that?
Right. Exactly. And he had a chance to turn the game and get himself in a chance to be in a power position, and instead he blew that up. You're completely right. But do you think he can use the nullifier to maybe make himself in a better position?
No.
No? I don't either.
I don't think so.
I don't either. I think he can blow up somebody's game and keep this person winning instead of have this person win. But that's really all he can do.
Nope.
Anything else?
No, he's not good.
He's been in my pain in the ass all season. He was always one Cole Metters or freaking Sebastian, who was like, why the hell are you here? Go away. You're annoying.
Right.
And that's Indians. I have a type, I guess I can say.
You do.
Because we're all kind of the same type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Who's got the fourth best chance of winning?
Nora.
Yeah. So what does Nora have to do to win?
Do something better. Stop acting crazy.
I mean, crazy is as crazy does, right? So I mean, she can stop acting crazy. That's like telling cow not to move. I mean, it's just just the way it is.
Yeah.
Chicken at the clock. She's gonna act crazy because she's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Again, her best chance align with Nora or align with Janet and Dean. Go down with them and then argue against Janet because Janet had no stakes in the game and Nora was just there having fun and Janet was mean or something. I don't know.
Nora's really good at talking. Not like it makes sense, but she's really good at talking about things. So
she certainly, and she can say one thing she can say. She was very honest.
Mm-hmm.
She never really lied a whole lot in the game. She kind of whatever was going on, she was pretty much straight up about it, and she can use that as her advantage. I don't think it'll work. I think Survivor's evolved beyond that. That was the last time that player won was Judd Berza, and that was season 21.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a long time. A lot has happened. That was missed the Russell Hantz era. That was in the pre Tony Vlachos era. So it's and Jeremy Wendell. All those things. A lot has happened since then. I don't think she can say I was honest and nice, and that's why I should win. I want some challenges. I don't think that's enough in Survivor anymore.
No.
So again, people can be mad at Janet. Something can happen in the next episode, or whatever, and everybody gets pissed off at whoever one other person, and then her and Dean are there, and Dean did nothing. I hate this person. So I'm gonna give it to Nora because she's funny, I guess, but I don't see that happening either.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Final three. Third best chance of winning.
Janet.
Damn it, Janet. Why? Why do you think Janet could win? What do you think? What is her road?
Country roads.
Take you home.
I don't know. She played a good game. She made some good alliances. Was protective where she needed to be. Or mom advice. She's a likable player. Mm-hmm. She got to the end being a likable player.
And I think Janet. I've been higher on Janet than you have all season, obviously. Mm-hmm. I think, but you did say last week that you'd be fine with Janet winning. Mm-hmm. You do like her as a person.
I do like her, yeah.
And and the thing is too, that mom on the season is the hardest role to play.
Mm-hmm.
More moms get to the end and get destroyed.
Right.
Look at last season even, right? Julie was the mom. Everybody hated her.
Yeah.
Angela on the on Don Wendell season, everybody hated her. Mm-hmm. Chrissy. People hated Chrissy. Mm-hmm. Keep going. We can keep going. It's back and back and back. Every time there's a mom character at the end. Dawn Meehan got shredded. It's every time there's a mom character who gets near the end or gets to the end, they get no votes. It's a Monica Culpepper. You can go through it and there's example after example after example. So the fact that Janet is likable, that the jury doesn't hate her, that's a win right there. She's got that chance. Just by that regard.
Right.
But I think Janet, I think you would agree, Janet's road is get rid of Tommy, get rid of Lauren first, then Tommy, and then go down with the final with those three. I think Janet is the middle of the pack with winning chances.
Yeah.
And that's why she's third. I think she beats Dean and Nora, and she loses to Tommy and Lauren. Yeah. Definitely Lauren, probably Tommy, and beats the other two. Mm-hmm. So I think it's gonna be, and honestly, it's gonna take $1 million effort to get Nora and Dean to work together. Mm-hmm. So if you can somehow make that happen, somehow get the votes, use your idol, whatever you got to do, and get yourself to. Dean's probably not going to do it because he's want to use his idol nullifier and screw something up and make a move for himself, even though he has no chance.
Right.
So he'll probably blow that up. But Nora, I think Janet should go ahead and bring Nora and Dean together, and then take out the other two, and then go ahead and get the win. It's going to be really hard to do because those two aren't going to work together. But if you can somehow make that happen, that would be the way to go.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's about right.
Okay. Second best chance of winning. Tommy, yeah. So why? What does Tommy need to do basically?
Get rid of Lauren.
That's it. I think he gets rid of Lauren, he gets himself to the end. The rest is history. Fire making is obviously controversial. It's gonna be tough to see who can win that. I think Tommy is a threat to win challenges. Mm-hmm. I think if Nora can beat him, or if Janet or whoever if someone can beat Tommy, then he needs to go as soon as he loses. Even if he goes before Lauren.
Yeah. Because
he's got the best odds of winning the challenge of anybody left.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can do that, they take him out next, and then he's got the best shot. But I think honestly, if he can even take out Lauren next, I think for him at this point, it doesn't matter who your alliances are.
Yeah.
If you have Janet with you, if you don't have Janet with you, Lauren.
If you get rid of Lauren, you made enough move to win.
Correct. And then all he has to do is make sure that he gets to the final three. Mm-hmm. It's a risk to take out somebody else, and then take out Lauren at 4 because Lauren could win fire. Somebody else could win immunity and take Lauren with them. There's a lot of things that can happen.
Right.
So I think he needs to go ahead and just say, all right, you know what? I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to take it on at 4, and just take out Lauren now.
Right.
And then go to 4, and hopefully he either wins immunity, wins fire, or gets taken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you see anything else, or anything else that kind of makes sense, or is that the way to go?
It's pretty much the way to go.
Right. And then number 1, it's been number 1 for a while. Winner prediction. By the way, if you look at it now, Janet's on nobody's team.
Correct.
B-Back has Dean and Tommy.
Mm-hmm. Second and last.
Yep. I have Nora, and you have Lauren. Only winner pick's alive, by the way, but not going to win.
No.
So it's going to be probably you or B-Back who has the win. It's gonna, or nobody, which would be funny if there's nobody. But it could be Tommy on B-Back's team. Could be Lauren on your team. I think it's gonna be Lauren. Mm-hmm. But Lauren is the number 1 best odds of winning. Why? What does she have to do?
Make sure she doesn't get kicked out.
That's it.
Just to win immunity.
She got one job. Mm-hmm. Not gonna take it on 5, and if she has to make fire at 4, make fire. Mm-hmm. If she can win in a couple of minutes, whatever she gotta do.
Yeah.
Get to the end, Lauren. That's it. Mm-hmm. Your job is to get to the end. You get to the end, you win. Mm-hmm. Again, she's probably gonna be targeted. I guarantee she's gonna be targeted at least at 5 or 4. Mm-hmm. If she doesn't win the challenges.
Right.
So she's got a tough shot to get there. But if she gets there, she beats anybody. Janet beats anybody but Tommy and Lauren. Tommy beats anybody but Lauren. Lauren beats everybody. Mm-hmm. So she gets there, she wins.
Yep.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
I think it's pretty straightforward. So I think I expect the finale. Janet will probably try to start something. Tommy will probably start something. And try to take somebody out. Whoever comes out of that has to get to the final 3. If Lauren can survive this next vote, she's got to either make fire or win a challenge. Mm-hmm. And then if she does either one of those 2 things, she wins the game. Yeah. So it's pretty straightforward. It's been pretty straightforward for a while. There's certainly intrigue that could happen, but based on the way the season's been going, most of the intrigue falls pretty much flat and falls apart right before the final minute there. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's been pretty obvious that Lauren was going to win since about 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. But if she does, she's not a bad winner, so it's okay.
Right.
The season itself has had left a lot to be desired with a lot more
Yes.
serious topics than just this will be a fun game of strategy. It's been a lot more of vitriol and nastiness that kind of we'd rather not have in our show.
Right. Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's society, and everything has to be somewhat having another purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just watch a show to watch it. It has to have a purpose.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know if I like that, but it's the way things are now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jessica, how do you find you on Twitter?
Just T820.
Just T820. We'll talk about the final episode. We probably won't talk about it right away. We'll probably give it a week or so. Maybe probably give it till after Christmas. Honestly, Christmas is Wednesday after the finale. So maybe a couple days after Christmas we'll talk about it, break it all down. I like to give it a week or so to kind of simmer, kind of digest it, and kind of have a good idea of how it's all going and everything before we come back for the final episode. But we'll schedule time and do that. Other than that, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up here. They can find you on Twitter, JessT820. You can find me on Twitter, Yo Grabba Gabba. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Productions. You can follow our YouTube channel. Obviously, subscribe so you get all the updates. Comment, share the post. Tell your friends. Spread the word. You can email the show directly, paperproductions@gmail.com. All this is going to be right in the credits at the end of the show, so take it down and let us know what you think. Love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear your feedback. Tell us what you think about the controversy and who you think's going to win. Tell us about the finale episode and what your predictions are. Did CBS do the right thing? Did they do the wrong thing? Was it was Dan right or wrong? Was Dan robbed? We'll find out more. I'm excited to see how the reunion goes too, because they haven't done a recorded reunion. I don't think ever. I think it's always been live. So or not reunion. So we'll see how it goes. We'll talk about the next season and take a look at that next week as well on our final episode. Anything else?
That's it.
I think that's it. I think we did it. I think we made it through this weird episode. Other than that, I know one thing. I got nothing else for you because the tribe has spoken. See you later.